What is going on, guys? Miles here, and today we're going to be looking at Operation Lion Strike, which is a recent supply drop update which was added to Modern Warfare Remastered yesterday. Let's do this. So starting off with the new camos, 13 new camos were added to the game today. Some of them aren't so great, so I'll go over the ones which I really did like. And the first one we have is called Spatter, which is a common one. Only costs 275 parts to make, which is pretty nice. And it has the text noob on it, which I think is quite cool. And also a couple of other bits of graffiti on it, so I quite like that one. And also glitter looks really good as well. This one does cost a little bit more though, at 775 parts, but it's quite hard to see the colors on glitter, which kind of sucks. But we have like a purple and green color scheme going on, which I really like the design of. And also Ancient looks really sick as well. We got some sort of red and gold style camo right here. Sort of reminds me of Chinese New Year, although I'm not sure if that's the actual intention of it, but I think it looks really good on the AK-47. They were all the camos for assault rifles which were added in the Operation Lion Strike. As for SMGs, there's a couple of really sick ones as well. My personal favourites are Synapse, which looks really cool, Brain Pan, which is sort of like a rusty gold looking thing, and also Gold Circuit, which is sort of like a red and gold looking thing, which I actually got from a supply drop. I wasn't a huge fan of the other camos for the other weapon classes, but Laurels looks really cool on the light machine guns. We have like a gold ribbon thing with a black background, as well as Ex Libris, which looks like cracked gold. Looks really awesome. One more camo I actually forgot is Gold Road, which is one of the most expensive camos in the recent update. As you can see on screen right now, it looks pretty damn sick, but it is very expensive, clocking in at 2,150 parts. So if you want this camo, you're going to have to pay a lot for it. However, these camos weren't the most important part of the recent update, as 3 new guns were actually added to Modern Warfare Remastered, along with all the other DLC weapons in the game, which I'll be going over right now. And the first one is the D25S, which is actually a sniper rifle, which is semi-automatic, and this is the first DLC sniper we actually have in the game. You can see it on screen right now. I don't actually have any of these weapons, so I can't show gameplay of them, unfortunately, but this thing has very similar stats to the M21, except it has 5 less accuracy, so I don't actually think this gun is very good at all, and I don't think it'll actually be used very much. The first DLC light machine gun was also added to the game, called the PKM, which is fully automatic with high power and effective at medium to long range. And compared to the RPD, which I would say is probably the most popular LMG in the game, it's more accurate but slightly less powerful and has a lower fire rate. And I'm pretty happy to see so far that these new weapons are actually really balanced and they don't seem really overpowered, which would be super annoying if they were, because they are only available through supply drops and crafting. So props to Raven Studios for actually making these guns pretty balanced. And finally, the last gun added into the game is the classic MAC-10, which is a submachine gun with a high fire rate, which is effective at close to medium range. And this thing is very similar to the Mini Uzi in game, except it's slightly more accurate and has a slightly lower fire rate. So I don't think this thing is going to be super beneficial to use in game, and I think it will be outclassed by the AK-74U. One new melee weapon was added to the game today called Samurai, which is a samurai sword, as you may have guessed by the name. And this thing looks pretty cool. It is probably one of my favourite melee weapons in the game, but it does cost a lot of parts to craft. It costs around maybe 4,500, so if you don't get it from supply drops, you're going to have to spend a lot to get it, which I wouldn't recommend because you can just craft guns instead of melee weapons, so I probably won't ever be getting this weapon. I actually stand corrected, because there are 2 other melee weapons which are a part of yesterday's update. We have Thug, which is a sort of weird axe looking thing with holes in it, and we also have Mechanic, which is like a weird looking hammer, but none of those look as cool as a samurai sword. And also there were 2 other melee weapons which were a part of a different update, which was also added yesterday, which I made a separate video on, which I'll leave a link to in the description. One last thing I actually forgot to mention is that the Operation Lion Strike supply drops are actually different to the old Operation Arctic Wolf, which means when you open the Lion Strike supply drops, you will not get any items from the old Operation, which is actually really good because that increases the chance of getting something you want from this supply drop, which I'm really happy to see, and hopefully something similar will be in Infinite Warfare soon. But there we have it. They were all of the new guns and camos which are available as a part of the Operation Lion Strike, which is now available in Modern Warfare Remastered. Let me know what you think of these guns down in the comments below. Do you guys actually have any of them? But if you guys found the video useful, if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely awesome. But I'll see you guys in my next video.